They insult you, and you flinch. They mock you, and you burn inside. But what if I told you the power of every insult vanishes the moment you stop feeding it with your emotions? Pause for a second. Imagine walking through life untouchable, unshaken, where every attempt to humiliate you collapses like ash in the wind. Doesn't that sound like the kind of strength they never want you to have? The truth is darker than you think. People insult not because of who you are, but because of the control they hope to gain over you. Every harsh word, every sarcastic laugh, every attack, it's a hook designed to drag you into their chaos. And here's the terrifying part. Most of us take the bait. We hand them our peace, our dignity, our self-mastery. But what happens when we refuse? When we finally break the chain that ties our worth to their words? That's when a new version of us emerges, colder, calmer, unstoppable. This video will take you into that transformation. Step by step, we'll explore the ancient mindset that makes you unbreakable. And if you stay until the end, you'll never look at insults the same way again. So, before we begin, make sure you hit subscribe, because what you're about to discover is something most will never have the courage to learn. There comes a moment in every life when someone's words slice deeper than a blade. It might be a stranger laughing at you in public, a friend betraying you with a cruel remark, or someone you once loved now using your weakness as ammunition. You feel it instantly, the tightening in your chest, the heat in your face, the voice inside whispering, "How dare they?" That voice, that fire, is where most of us lose the battle. We think the insult lives in their tongue, but in truth it's born inside our own mind. And the dangerous part? Once you let it in, it starts eating you alive. Pause here and really think about it. Why do words hurt more than wounds? A scar on the body fades, but a scar on the soul lingers, replaying over and over. It's because deep down we crave recognition. We crave to be seen, to be valued, to be respected. So when an insult comes, it feels like our very worth is being ripped away. And that's exactly why most people never escape this trap. They react, they fight, they burn. And in that reaction, they hand their enemy victory without realizing it. But what if I told you there's another way? A way so dark, so silent that those who use it appear almost untouchable. The ancient philosophers discovered this path long before us. They understood that the insult is not the real enemy. The true enemy is the storm inside, the rage, the shame, the endless replay of what was said. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." His words are not just philosophy. They're survival, and they force us to ask, why should the weak opinions of others dictate the strength of our spirit? Imagine standing before your enemy, their insults crashing against you like waves against a cliff. They scream, they sneer, they wait for your collapse, but nothing comes. You don't fight back. You don't beg. You don't even flinch. You stand there calm, cold, unshaken, and in that moment the power shifts. Their words die in their throat, because without your reaction, their weapon is nothing but air. That's the secret most will never learn. When you stop reacting, they stop controlling. So here's the question that will haunt you tonight, if no insult can truly touch you. Why have you been living like a prisoner to words? Why keep carrying daggers that were never yours to begin with? The answer is not easy. It demands discipline, silence, and an iron heart. And once we begin to walk this path, something extraordinary happens. Something extraordinary happens. You begin to see the world differently. Insults no longer carry the same weight because you've stripped them of their venom. The words still exist, yes, but they fall flat, like arrows hitting stone. You realize the pain was never in the insult itself, but in your decision to let it pierce you. This realization is terrifying at first, because it means the suffering was always under your control. But it is also liberating. Suddenly, you are no longer chained to the moods, the judgments, the fragile egos of others. You become your own fortress. The Stoics called this inner fortress apatheia. Not apathy, not indifference, but freedom from destructive passions. Seneca once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Isn't that the truth? Think of the last insult you carried in your heart. The words lasted only a second, but you replayed them for hours, maybe days. You suffered more in memory than in the moment. And so the question arises, why torture yourself with ghosts? Why replay wounds that don't even exist anymore? The Stoic answer is brutal but clear. You suffer only because you choose to. Now picture this. The next time someone tries to humiliate you, instead of burning with rage, you pause. You let their words float in the air, empty, powerless. You don't explain yourself. You don't justify. You simply remain. To them, it feels like talking to a wall. To you, it feels like breathing for the first time without a weight on your chest. And in that silence, you taste a kind of power most people will never know. The power of control, not over them, but over yourself. And here lies the darker secret. The world will not stop insulting you. It will never stop testing your strength. But every insult is now fuel. Each attack is a chance to sharpen your resolve. And over time, something eerie happens. The people who once tried to wound you begin to respect you, or even fear you, because they cannot bend you. You become a riddle to them. And while they waste their lives chasing approval and fighting shadows, you walk above it all, untouchable. And that's where the true weapon of the Stoic reveals itself, silence. Not the weak silence of fear, but the terrifying silence of mastery. Think about it. When someone insults you, they expect fire. They expect you to shout, to defend, to break. But when you remain still, when your eyes show no crack, their own words turn against them. They drown in the echo of their failure. That silence, that unshakable calm, is not emptiness. It is strength condensed into its purest form, the kind of strength that makes others realize they cannot control you. But silence is not enough on its own. It must be paired with the right perception. Epictetus warned us that men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. And he was right. What is an insult but a vibration of air, a sound tossed into the world? It's our interpretation that gives it poison. When you change the lens, you change the reality. And suddenly their insult is no longer a wound, it is proof of their weakness. Proof that they are not masters of themselves, but prisoners of their bitterness. You see this, and instead of rage, you feel something different, pity perhaps, or even dark amusement. And slowly you begin to notice the shift inside yourself. You are not only less reactive, you are becoming untouchable. Every insult that once chained you now becomes a stepping stone. Every attempt to humiliate you hardens your resolve. You start to crave the test, because each trial only proves how far you've risen above the chaos. And the deeper you walk into this path, the more you realize the one who cannot be insulted cannot be broken, and the one who cannot be broken controls the game. Here's the truth they'll never admit. When someone insults you, it has nothing to do with you. It is always a mirror of their own weakness. A person at peace does not need to spit venom. A soul that is whole does not waste breath trying to tear others down. Insults are confessions. They reveal the storm raging inside the one who throws them. And once you realize this, the balance shifts forever. Instead of feeling wounded, you begin to see them for what they are. Fragile, broken, desperate to project their pain onto anyone who will carry it for them. The insult is not a weapon, it is a cry for help. But here's where most people fail. They still give in to the urge to defend themselves, to explain, to strike back. They think strength lies in proving others wrong. It doesn't. True strength lies in needing no proof at all, in smiling while the world throws stones, in walking forward with dignity while others choke on their bitterness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And there it is, the ultimate paradox. You defeat them not by fighting, but by refusing to descend into their level, by staying still while they burn, by standing. When fear enters their eyes, you know you've crossed into rare territory. You are no longer seen as someone who can be provoked, toyed with, or broken. You've become something else, something unnerving. The man or woman who cannot be insulted is a ghost in the battlefield of words. People strike at shadows and their weapons pass through air. They grow frustrated, confused, even threatened. Because in a world addicted to reactions, the one who remains calm becomes a mystery. And mysteries are always feared. But this isn't about power over them. It's about power over yourself. Insults are nothing compared to the wars we fight within. The real victory is not silencing their tongue, but silencing the storm that rises in our own chest. And once you master that silence, once you carry that unshakable calm inside you, the world itself bends differently around you. You walk through chaos, untouchable, unshaken, unbroken. That is not just philosophy, that is freedom. And this freedom, this dark and quiet strength, is only the beginning. Because if no insult can harm us, what else have we been prisoners to without realizing? In the next step of this journey, we'll uncover the hidden chains that still bind us and how to break them forever. So if you're ready to go deeper, subscribe now, because the path we're walking only gets darker.